Okay, well, look, we're recording this, so for those that can't make it, they'll get this anyway, and we'll just do a quick run through describing our current product offering. I put the screen out here because I knew Terry would show up, so I thought at least I'd put the screen out here. It's been a recurring theme in all we're doing. Specifically our ad campaign. So if you see these out there, one of the things we try and make clear is, one, we have a sense of humor, but two, we're very serious about what we're doing. So everything we try and do is tied back to art, and that's the thing we focus on, which is protecting and securing your art itself. So if I can get this managed properly. The other thing, most people will recognize this as a spoof of the Maurizio Catalan, but it's been a theme prior to this picture that we took. We actually created this art in our office here. This notion that when it comes to art, people actually know more about their pizza delivery or their Uber drive than they do about their art and where it is. There's been a number of things that have happened recently in the news. Well, there's always something about art in the news. The most recent that we were talking about the other day was athletes who are actually having their homes broken into and their valuables stolen when they're actually at games and their families are at games. So as we describe this and you think about, is your art okay? One of the things that we focus on is, of course it is. If you're using Authentify, we would know it's okay. You would know it's okay anywhere in the world. And specifically where they may be able to get around a lot of security systems, we would know the instant that the internet was cut, we would know the instant anything moved off the wall, and we could even track that work of art anywhere as it went out your property itself. So we'll go through here once again. A lot of this will come back to one thing that we talked about. Austin, put on your camera so people can see, because you're going to do something fun here. When we talk about inventory in a lot of these locations, the one where Austin is right now, which is Victor Gallery, reminded me of this last scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark. A lot of the warehouses you'll see do not look like what you expect the art world to have. It's ridiculously dense storage. You can't see any of the art. It's often just in a crate. So here's Raiders of the Lost Ark, and once you've placed the ark, who knows where it is. So what we're going to ask Austin to do in a couple minutes is to run through the facility and do a full inventory on 1,700. Actually, I think we said it's 1,400. It's 1,400 rugs here. Austin, you want just to zoom in on how the tags are done and what you'd have to do manually. So each one of these just has a paper tag on it. Most of them will have a barcode or handwritten. So we've actually put, can you show them what the tag looks like on the back? So there's actually an Authentify tag back there. So that allows us to do inventory for every single item. One of the things we'll show you at the end is when we did this inventory for them just by tagging it, we found that they were actually missing close to 400 of the rugs they didn't even have on their website because they didn't even know they were here. So one of the fringe benefits of doing this was actually finding lost inventory. Okay, so this spirit right here, tracking and tracing, we're going to do security momentarily, and that's what I'm going to, Austin, when we're done with this, I'm going to say go. And Dan, let's do it now. Dan, do you have the timer on? Okay, you're ready. So Austin, are you ready to do your full inventory?
Give me about 30 seconds and I will be.
Okay. So what he's going to do is use an RF gun. And for those that can see the screen, he's going to use one of these. And he's going to walk through this facility. Don't run. It's like going around a pool. I don't want you to trip and hurt yourself. But go through and do an inventory on all of these items. And we'll come back. We're going to time you. When you're back, say I'm done. Or say, Dan, I'm done. We'll do that. And then we'll show you on the screen afterwards. I'm going to show you all the inventory and all the items that we have. And, I'm going to tell all of you and show you all exactly what inventory is in that location, even though I'm not there and I can't look at it. So just when we look at this, this screen right here just describes the main components of what we do when we're tracking and tracing. You can see here, one we're going to do.
Austin, should I put start?
Are you ready, Austin?
I'm ready.
Okay, go.
Okay, start.
Go for it. So the first thing he's doing is inventory on the track and tracing, because things are tagged, and you can see on the left hand of this image is dense storage for art. Sometimes it's disorganized, sometimes it's not. There's also gallery art that we have. Victor Gallery looks a lot like this in terms of a lot of dense storage and a little bit on the gallery upstairs that you can actually see. So for every single work of art or crate, there's a secure ID. That's what Austin just showed you. Sometimes the secure IDs are a little bit smaller. On my screen, you'll see one of the smaller tags that we put on the work of art. Some are a little bit larger for long range. Find and locate is a feature. When Austin comes back, we'll talk about that. If he is missing 1 or 2 rugs after it, we can actually have him go and like a Geiger counter. It'll help him locate that very specific rug that's out there. And once again, this is a major problem a lot of people have. They've got all these, works of art and they're looking for one. It's one thing to know it's there. It's another to actually find it. And this makes it incredibly easy. So in the same time it took him to do inventory or less, he could probably find that same rug. And the last thing is the tags aren't just a way of giving you a number. The art passport associated with this means that you can have a lot of information. So when you go up to a work of art, you can see a picture of it, know the dimensions, the weight. You can get all the way down to bills of lading or other materials necessary for it. So it all comes as part of that package of what we put in it. So the main part of this is to talk about this basic question of a lot of people, when you ask them, the simple question of where is your art, they will rack their brain and describe where they think their art is, but they can't actually confirm that the art is there unless they're standing in front of it. And this is a problem that has been, forever the case. It's especially true for second homes or offices, etc. So the question answering, do you know where your art is or where is your art, is the first thing we're going to show you, not just from an inventory standpoint, from a security standpoint. And the other main question is it okay? So those 2 questions, while we do a lot at Authentify, that's kind of the basics. That's where we start. These are the questions we answer. And once you see the extent of what we do, you'll start asking questions. Can you do X, Y, or Z? And more than likely we can, or we have a partner that does it even better than us that we're integrated with. So if you don't know where your art is and you're with Authentify, you will, because we'll know where it is as well. So let's just look at the anatomy of monitoring alerts. And I'm walking you through a diagram, but I'm going to actually show you this live. And more than likely, we should be able to do an experiment where the works of art that we're monitoring, I'm going to walk them out of the room and you're going to see the alerts sound off as well. So on the monitoring side, you can see at the top there is a little box in the top right corner that is a antenna. In this case, it's shown. There's one right behind me in my room. If you can see it straight back, I know it's fuzzy, but there's a antenna right there. There's an antenna up there, and there's 2 hidden antennas in my office here. So you could have it either visible or you can have it hidden behind a wall, in the ceiling, etc. Is he done yet? Dan, what are we up to?
Halfway.
I didn't hear you, Dan.
3 minutes and 30 seconds.
What, he's done?
No, he's halfway.
Oh, okay. I thought, geez, that's the fastest. So for monitoring purposes, you don't need an RF gun. We're actually using antennas and readers. So these are fixed readers. And for a lot of you, it'll look just like a Wi-Fi setup. It looks like a Wi-Fi antenna. It doesn't have to be visible. It can be hidden. And for a lot of private homes, they don't want it to be visible. So it's either in a closet or in the ceiling or elsewhere. So it's non-visible. Once again, the security IDs that we have, it's the same IDs that we use for monitoring as we do for inventory or tracking and tracing. So once you have the tags, you can add basically most or all of the features that we provide at Authentify. The last thing I'm showing here, the scanning, we complement what we're doing on the security side, and I'll show you in the office here. We're actively monitoring 3 specific works of art in the office, but I have, I think, roughly 50 art tags here and probably a whole bunch of blank ones. So you'll actually see that we can see all of the tags, but we're actively just setting up alerts and monitoring on just 3 of them for now. And that gives us the flexibility to not necessarily deal with everything or only focus on the high value assets if necessary. The other side of it too, for a lot of people that own larger collection, they may want to actively monitor some, but passively know where their inventory is. The advantage of the gun is all you need is an internet connection, including just being paired to a phone. So you can do inventory anywhere in the world. And the last thing, alert management, will show you a small portion of this. But I think the key thing to understand about the alert management, this is a core feature we've put into the platform. So basic alerting is if we've set up a specific location for it and it starts to move, we will send either a text, SMS, WhatsApp, an email. There will also be alerts within the system that we're kicking off. If you have a security company or other people you want to be notified, they can be added as well. And the main thinking behind this is problems usually happen when you're not available, when you're on vacation. So we've set up the alerts to work in the way and escalate in the way you want. And it can be certain works of art are escalated being in one area because of one region, and other alerts are sent to a different area. So the one may be in Boston, the other one's in San Diego. You're not necessarily alerting the same people. Any questions so far? So just quick show and tell, there's a collection management component of a platform. We're not going to discuss it today. If you have questions at the end, you can always ask Theo. He can walk you through it. Say hi, Theo.
Hi.
And then for larger installations, auction houses or large logistics companies, there's a component, once again, the same basic tools we use, but we're dealing with warehouse management software, et cetera, that we integrate with. So it becomes a component of that as opposed to a standalone inventory system. Just to review the things we talk about, when we talk about a secure ID, we've got two different examples here. An RFID, the square one is a long range one. They can be up to 8 to 9 meters read quite easily. When you see the secure UHF tag, this is the tag I just showed you. The gold thing is actually a secure label we put on top of it. It can also be white labeled, so if people want to have a different one in front, that's fine. It's just to avoid tampering, and it's one layer of protection we put on all the tags. Secure NFC, for those of you that have ever used Samsung Pay or Apple Pay, this is a component that really helps you if all you have is a phone and you want to identify a work of art or do a proof of life. They're on the back of this. It also supports the passport. So any of the information that you want securely shared with people in proximity to it, you can provide that. It's just baked into this. You can turn it on and turn it off in terms of access to that data. The UHF readers, I can't show you what's behind the walls. It'll look, the gun is a reader, but this all small white thing is also, it just looks like a little device that you would put right next to your modem or router in your house. And the antenna, it's one example. Antennas come in different sizes and shapes, small, thin, fat, outdoor, indoor, any number of things. So whenever we go to a facility or to a home, we'll match the antenna with both the aesthetic as well as the purpose of that. And many rooms will have two antennas, but once again, they won't be visible. It's just so that we pick up the signals effectively. So where we're going to go, I'm going to skip over and we're going to talk about an actual case study where I'm going to remove a work of art. I think I've removed it, but I can't even find where I put it. So that'll be fun. We can go looking for it as well. So I'm going to shift over. We're going to show the active monitoring right now, and I'm going to share a different screen. Is Austin done yet?
Yep, I just finished. I hit a little snag because John was digging for something. So I had to work around him a little bit.
So under 10 minutes, but not 9. It's 9 minutes, basically 9 minutes, 9 seconds.
And for how many rugs is that?
If I look for one rug, you can help me.
Yeah, I can. I'm just we're on a call and I'll help you right after. Yeah.
So during live demo, what was the question he asked, Austin? I think I heard it.
I want to help him find a rug, basically.
So Vimal is on here. Our partner, Smart Cosmos, specifically with the security, they're a leader in RFID. Vimal, who's the CEO of the company, is here just to listen in. Occasionally, you'll see things just showing Smart Cosmos, or it'll be co-branded with Authentify. For all intents and purposes, we're functioning as the same company. They were the leader in this field, and that's why we partnered with them starting, I think it was close to 4 years ago.
Right.
So what you're looking at right now is a simple monitoring screen. We have a bunch of different locations that we're monitoring. I'll show you. One of our clients is Art Moves, which is in Miami. So if people want to demo, they can go out there. Victor Gallery right now is working. This is where Austin is. So I'm just going to give you a short glimpse of Victor Gallery. And Victor Gallery, it's just we do a lot of tests here, so it's giving metrics of what we're seeing. And I'll show you in detail. So just a quick show and tell. This is typically not what a end user would see as much as a security company. It is one of the dashboards that we use. And it's what we do for active monitoring. You would be sent an email or a text if there's a real problem. What this is showing us is we're tracking, I think on this one, it looks like just about every 2 minutes. And you can see right now while we're here, it actually threw an error. For all demos, we like to show what's happening. In this case, there was the internet had a disruption when it was scanning, so it immediately threw an error, and it's in the background sending emails and SMS telling us there's a problem. So this is in real time, and it's kind of fun that that happened right there, and that was the problem. You can see in that time, it's actually now back. So we're back up again. And it's showing each of the 4 works of art that we're monitoring. As far as anybody, if they were to try and scan this data, they would see this cryptic information, which provides no detail of painting. We're interpreting it and showing you which paintings we're looking at here. So Victor Gallery is monitoring upstairs. It has a full art gallery, and these are works of art that they rotate in and out, and it allows us to make sure that they're secure and in place. Any questions? In the case that there's a failure, we'll see right here, it will show, 1 of 4 was missing, and it shows this specific work of art was missing, meaning for some reason it was disrupted or moved, or somebody blocked the signal. So we have a very highly sensitive system that if there's any problem, that's when we would start escalating. If it was a minor blip, we could go and see that and not escalate further. But it's giving us as close to real-time information about a missing painting. I'm just going to go back quickly. We're going to see if we can make this work for here. We were doing some extra work. So Authentify in the lab right here, it shows at the moment that we're all green. I've got so many antennas here, it's easy to be all green. And it shows, what time is it now? Okay. It shows we passed the last time it was running. So assuming I do this right, I'm actually taking 2 works of art that are monitoring and I'm hiding them so that hopefully we won't be able to pick them up, and we'll see that turn red in a second. In the meantime, I'm just going to switch over and we're going to show you, we can go all the way down and show you actually what the antennas are doing. So I'm going to share a different tab here. Theo, any color commentary?
I just wanted to add from the beginning, when you're talking about knowing where your art is, it's not necessarily just on your walls in your homes, but it's also in the storage facilities that you may have installed. So it's about knowing wherever they are in your residences or in storage, and at the same time, how they are, what the conditions are, and are they in the place that they are meant to be.
Well, any serious collector, you only have so much wall space, right? So you have 1,000 pieces of artwork and only wall space for 15. So where are the other ones? And did you find the one I want to rotate this one into my, onto my wall? Where is it?
Sure.
If you have hundreds of thousands of artworks, or 15 different houses, it gets a little crazy sometimes.
So Curtis, what are you showing us here?
So at the moment, what we're seeing, this is actually the reader, what it's reading in real time. And you can see in this one, on this reader, it actually has 2 antennas. It shows port number 4 and port number 1. We're only looking for 3 works of art, but it's actually picking up every tag in this office right now. So in the case of escalation, not only can we see what's out there, we see everything that's out there. And this number right here actually shows the signal itself. So if we wanted to get down to the sensitivity of watching something walk out the door, we would actually see the signal decreasing. So at the moment, we're just triggering based on can we see it or not within a certain signal range. But the future of this, we could go to a level of literally not only do we see it, or in a case of statues, sometimes we'll actually put tags that are not readable unless you pick them up. And in that case, if you're moving it is the only time we would see it, and we would alert, anybody, that this is actually in transit, moving when it shouldn't be. The biggest difference that we see between this and a lot of security systems is we're also monitoring for an internet connection. So if we do not establish a connection and cannot see it, we're immediately telling you there's a problem. So that's instant. And the second is we're continuously pinging this. So if we don't see it for any reason, we know there's a problem, and there's no way to fake or spoof that. So rather than being able to keep circuits closed or other elements in normal security systems, there's really no way around it. So in many cases, we've had clients where we're actually reporting there's an internet problem before the security company even knows anything is going on. So we not only are we helping the art, but we're actually helping enhance their overall security. So this cycles through every 2 minutes. I'm going to take you back. We were monitoring that, and as I told you, we were actually watching to see if it noticed those works of art disappear. And you can actually see, yeah, it did throw an error, and it says 2 of the 3 are missing. So the 2 works of art that I took out, one is the Willis and the other one is the Rembrandt. They're actually underneath my computer. I stole them, and I'll show you where they are right now. So they were right here. So if I put them back, they will show back up again when it monitors next. So hopefully that gives you an idea. As soon as I took them out, within the 2 minutes, it started showing that we had an error, we had a problem. But it's, as we're saying, we're watching this at all times. This is what's, this is the fundamentals of what our system is doing. And from a tagging standpoint, just so you can see, I'll bring a couple of works forward right now. This work of art, this one has the tag on the back, or the verso right here, if you can see it. The tag is underneath this gold label. I actually tagged these fresh and new yesterday, the 3 in the back, and it took us, well, it took me about 10 minutes to set it up and put the tags on and then configure the system so that we could be monitoring these as well. So this is not a long drawn out process. It's actually quite quick. In many of the industrial locations we've done, like Art Moves and Victor's, we set up the monitoring within 24 hours. So we came in, we set up the antennas, we configured the connections, and we were up and going. So once again, it's very fast. We can extend it, and we've even done it in a mobile. Hopefully you saw on the screen it turned green. While we were here, we can see right now everything is showing up again. We brought the art back into the room. Clearly, this is not recorded. I'm not faking this out. This is literally just the system working live. What's nice about this, whether you're in New York for Victor or Art Moves, which is Miami, or here in Southern California, it's very easy for us to take you into non-private homes and show it working. But we can also, anywhere that we're servicing, we can go out there. We've got a mobile unit. We can have it going, probably within half an hour. It's not a fixed, but it's a mobile. And that can work as well if we want to do in transit for trucks, or if we want to do at a temporary location, a museum, an art show, etc. We could set that up very quickly as well. Even for an art fair, we could set up and monitor any location. It's very fast. It's very easy for us to do. So last but not least, what I'm going to do is I'm going to present the inventory that our good friend Austin did. Give me 1 second. I'm going to bring up. So when we do inventory, there's we could show you the system behind the scenes. It's a little bit more complex for most users. So when we're dealing with inventory at this level, what we typically do is set up a custom report for them. And this report, hopefully you can see, it'll look just like an Excel spreadsheet. I'll increase the size of the font a little bit, so hopefully it looks a little bit better. Is that a little bit better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, so quick and dirty, for those of you that know how to use an Excel spreadsheet, this is all of the inventory that has been done by our good friend Austin. And in order to see what the inventory is live now, I'm just going to go and just refresh the data. It's going to pull the data down from the system. and it's there. Now I'm seeing all the inventory that he did. So I'll show you a couple of features of it. We can do a search on any rug. It will tell us where it is. It's telling us right here the last time this was done. So people doubting it, this was at 1:18 p.m. East Coast time. I believe that's, so he was not lying when he did that. And we can even see for every rug the time it was picked up, as he scanned it. So it's actually recording the exact time. So this also functions as a proof of life for insurance companies. Even if you have facilities like Victor's has a Washington, D.C., you can confirm the last time this was actually seen and done. So people can't cheat and say, oh yeah, I did it. And you actually know exactly when it was done and who did it. For most of this, you'll see this number right here is that unique ID. That's the only thing that any RFID can pick up. The rest of the information comes from our system where we're pairing up that secure data with any of the metadata associated with whether it be the art or this case rugs. What's interesting about this as well is most of the rugs we knew about, but when we actually did the inventory, when we get down here, you'll see a number of them don't actually have any description. It turns out we found, I think it's down to about 200 rugs that they didn't even know they had at this location. They didn't know it. It was not on the website. They had nowhere. So they were actually losing the opportunity to sell it, let alone show it to people. So right now, what they're working on, because we gave them this information, they're actually tracking down and figuring out what these are. And then we'll load the information and the images back so they can actually, find and sell these items. The reason we do Excel is it's super easy to use. As I say, most people know how to use Excel. I'm just going to show you, for my purposes, I have access to more than just Victor. So I'm going to go over and just show a very quick, I filtered by Victor's basement. I'm going to show everybody here what's in the San Marcos location. I don't know if you can see the pop-up here, but I'm filtering based on San Marcos. And now you can see on my screen, this is just San Marcos. There's many fewer items. We have a combination of what we have known, and then all of these are actually just tags that I have here that have not actually been assigned to a work of art. So that's why they look like this. You can see I just, on the title here, I have 15 that I'm actively looking at, and I did inventory just before this meeting.
And you can sort in any way you want through the Excel process,
Yep.
By name, by title, by whatever you want. So those sort of functionalities of Excel all work. And as Curtis is showing you here right now, there is the thumbnail images of the works as well, because we know that many people work a lot from visual images, especially in the art space, and they have the idea in their mind of what the item looks like, and not necessarily the full description or a written code. So it's a very easy way to remind oneself, what are you looking for? Can you find it? Where is it?
So whenever we search for an item or we bring it up, the images show up on your smart device, on the RF, in the app, everywhere you go, the image is there. We just added this feature into the Excel, so it shows here if you want to use it as well. In the case you'll see busy or missing, it just means that they haven't loaded the image in yet. As soon as the image is loaded in, it'll automatically appear on here. So
one of the things we didn't cover is how do you, so we sent Victor Gallery a list of, here's the 400 items that you don't know about, and the use case for them is they need to find one, right? How do they search for that one? Because in the olden days, if you had like barcodes on it, you'd have to go and like, is this it? 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 Now you've like, I know I'm looking for this particular tag. How do you do that?
Theo, do you have the ability to show this?
I am literally doing it right now. So
okay.
Let me complete it and I'll share my screen.
Okay, so the answer to this is, and these are a couple baked in features, but the standard feature we have is the find function. You'll scan the barcode or type in the name of it, and it will act like a Geiger counter, and will show you're getting closer, closer, closer until you're on top of it, and it'll let you know. He may have turned off the sound just for this show, for this webinar, but it also has an an audible sound that, tells you you're getting closer and closer and closer as well.
So instead of having to like, is this it? Is this it? Is this it? It's like
You don't have to see it. You don't have to read a barcode. It can be hidden behind something. I started doing this by accident. I lost a couple tags in my backpack, and I actually find tags using it when I can't find it. So for a demo, I literally was searching through my backpack until it found it was in a pocket. It was probably the biggest sell of what we were doing. It literally works that well. What are we seeing here? It looks upside down to us. It is upside down.
Oh, it is upside down. So, sorry. So this is, i.e., the work of art, and it has the tag on the back of it. And we will go and place this in a location where we don't know apparently where it is. So I'm going to go and do that now, and then we will do the process of finding it.
So basically, it's like we've told Victor Gallery, hey, you've got a rug somewhere in your inventory that you don't know about it, but it has a tag on it. But you don't know the name of the rug or the type of the rug or the the size of the rug. Please go find that rug and put in the rest of the details into the inventory master. So this is Theo's screen. Perfect.
So everywhere we have, every item gets a unique ID, like a VIN number. And this is what we will either scan as a barcode, which makes it very easy, or type in manually. On every screen in our system, we offer the barcode equivalent. It just makes it incredibly easy to look for numbers, especially most of these are 13 digits long, so you don't want to have to retype them each time. So he's just scanned his computer screen to get at it. And that's another thing. In the old days, you couldn't scan a barcode on a computer screen, and now you can. So you even have to have printed items. What Theo's showing here is as soon as he's put in the item, we recognize what the item is. It's a description of that item.
Yeah.
In some cases, we'll have all the way down to dimensions or other information that's pertinent. In other times, it'll be very limited, depending on what the client wants or what the warehouse facility is, choosing to share with their workers.
Exactly. So I'm going to go and I'm using my gun now to find that specific artwork that I have placed elsewhere in my room. So if I go right now, I'm going to turn around. At the moment, I'm not picking up anything. As I move over here, I say, oh, it picked up something, so I'm going to go in that direction. So the closer I get in the way that I'm moving my gun, I will see that I'm picking up, moving towards where it should be. And right now, I've found it.
There we go. So he's on it. And for those looking at it, at the moment, there's a long range and a short range. So there's certain cases where you turn on long range to find it, but as you get closer up to a couple crates, you can't tell it's 1, 2, or 3, and you can do a shorter range they showed on there, and that gives you very precise. You have to be on top of it for it to register. So it has fine tuning associated with it as well. This may seem like a very simple function, but this is a game changer for most people with any dense storage, or the amount of times that people misplace a work of art when it's created. It's quite shocking.
Well, it's kind of like the Raiders of the Lost Ark picture, right? The very end of the movie, they put this crate in the middle of this warehouse. It's like, well, now go find that crate. And it's like, that could be a month-long job to find that crate in that warehouse.
Yeah, so when Dan was actually putting together metrics for our clients, he implied that inventory would be, from a couple hours to a couple minutes. And what Dan, had forgotten was his own youth and how backwards much of the art world is. And inventory on large is not a matter of hours. Often it's not even a matter of days. It's often a matter of weeks and multiple people doing it. It just takes a ridiculously long time. And that's what we've demonstrated both with Austin today, as well as our other clients. It's a matter of minutes to do what would usually take, as we said, weeks of time. They'll shut down entire facilities for a couple of weeks at the end of the year just to know what's where. So you can imagine what a game changer it is when you could do that twice, multiple times a day, as frequently as you want, to know exactly where your inventory is at any point in time.
So I'm going through what Austin literally just did, was to do an inventory, but I'm doing an inventory of my zone here. And as you can see right now, you can do it on a visual basis of items that are present and items that are still missing.
What zone are you in?
I'm in my Dominican Republic zone.
Oh, okay.
So here we see the SKU codes of what we're looking for
Can you show the pictures that show up?
on the SKU. Yeah.
Yeah. So like we said, anything that has a picture will show up here, and you can even click on the picture and it'll give a description of what it is. So if he clicks on it, any item, it should show that. So it provides that level of information.
And that's just by me tapping the screen, and it gives that information to me right in front of me. So that was just a quick share of that. Curtis, what did you want to go into next?
Honestly, I think for the most part, we're done.
Any last words for the final minutes of the recording?
Yeah, I think, I'm just going to put this up just as a screensaver here. Many people will remember the Gardner Museum back in 1990 had some of the most valuable works of art in the world stolen, and they're still not found. So when we talked about offering this product and what we could do, every time we see this, whether it be this or the British Museum, it sort of breaks our heart, because we know as of, certainly when we started this project in 2020, we could solve that problem. And not only could we solve it with the highest of high tech and lasers and the rest, it's actually quite inexpensive to be able to solve this problem for any collection of art or collectibles. So, it's not nice to joke about it, but literally we see ourselves as being 32 years too late to have solved this problem. But there's no reason to wait any longer, given what we can do now. We can solve this problem for anybody, anywhere. You don't have to have a priceless work of art to make this worthwhile. You can have something that's just something that you love and you cherish, will lead us going forward. And the last thing I think we put out there, it's one of the next year's launches, and I'll just show on my screen. There's a little device up here that we call the Art Tracker. When we talk about our technology, all of the technology up to now does not require a battery. It is designed by conservators in terms of the adhesive we use. There are no risks at all of putting this with a work of art. When we show it to conservators, they kind of love what we're doing, because we literally use the same materials they would to fix or repair works of art. The Art Tracker that I'm showing you right here does have a tiny battery associated with it, and it'll be most familiar to people as something like an AirTag. But it's not an AirTag. We did this before AirTags existed, and it's designed specifically for art, and it just doesn't track the geolocation of an item. It does temperature, it does humidity, it does micro vibration, it does impact, it has a gyroscope so you know the orientation of it, it has exposure to light broken down to UV, IR, and RBG, and it even gets into analysis of the air quality in proximity to your work of art. So it was designed to protect art 24/7. At the moment, mostly we're sampling every 2 seconds. So anything that could happen ever, we would know about it, and you would know about it for your work of art. So on one end, we consider proactive conservation. It is protecting a work of art at all times. It has a sensitivity that if you have a wood panel painting, it would detect the woodworms inside of the panel before it did any damage. So starting next year, we envision it'll be more for works of art in transit and higher value items, so $100,000 and more in value. But from a cost standpoint, there's no prohibitor to get down as low as a $10,000 work of art. If there's any risk with it, there's value. And the people who have been looking for this most actually are the insurance companies and people that take a third-party interest. But if you love your art, there's no reason why you wouldn't want to do this as well. So it's sort of a win-win. Better insurance policy, better rates, but also better protection of all of your assets. So I know if Peter's on this call, our head of investor outreach and one of our salespeople will be sending out a survey to people that are interested in this. As I say, we'll be doing a soft launch of the product. It's been around for 3 years, but it's just been for museum usage so far. We'll be releasing it commercially starting next year. And we'll just have people signing up. So as we start producing these, first come, first serve in terms of, who gets usage.
Curtis, I just wanted to reaffirm. So all of the tags that we showed at the beginning, none of them contain any batteries whatsoever.
Mhm.
And so they are just tags that are passive tags. The only time the battery is involved is what Curtis just showed to you, which is in the art monitor tracker.
And for those that ask why not an air tag or why not something else, it's one of the key things about Authentify. While we do things other than art, our primary focus has always been art and art first. Largely, art has its own sensitivity. Art has its own issues with it. Managing art is different from managing other assets. So just picking any RFID, you wouldn't use, a pizza tracker for your art. You wouldn't use a retail RFID that they, use on your, fast fashion, products as well. You use something that was specifically designed for art to last the duration of the art itself. And that's where we really fit and how we're different. We jokingly say, you don't need to MacGyver something when it would cost you less just to use the right thing, which is what Authentify offers.
And I'd love to just hear again from you, Curtis, about the privacy and the secure nature of the tags that we use. And
when we started the company, my comment to our team, along with my co-founder Dan and then later Theo, was that security had to come first, especially when it comes to art. People are very sensitive about information getting out, location of the art, properties of the art, ownership of art, all of these things. So we sort of jokingly said we would do the opposite of whatever any social media company did, which was security first. And everything you see is about not allowing the general public to see anything unless you explicitly ask them to see it, and only sharing the data you want to share with the people that have rights to share it. And goes beyond that. When you see our security features at a later point, we give you total control of who can see what, when, and immediate control. Should you want to revoke control, it disappears off their screen as soon as you do it. And this is as important to insurance and banking and all the rest as it is to people just protecting their own privacy. So even when our advertising says you will know where your art is, or Authentify does, we actually don't, which occasionally causes a problem for our clients. They ask us to make a change to all of their art, and we actually don't know what they have. We can't tell what they own, only they can tell what they own, and they can share that information with us, but it has to be explicitly sharing with us to help them. And there's an audit trail of anything we do, change, modify on their behalf.
And I think just to add, the consequential benefits of more than from what we've just seen is also the insurance companies that we've spoken to, who love what we're doing. At least two of the major ones we have spoken to so far in detail have said that by enabling this on their art collections, they will be able to reduce their premiums.
Yes. And to Theo's point, it's not just conversations. We have a number of clients that we've been working with their insurance companies, and they've turned around and looking at how they can provide this to all of their high-end art clients because they see the advantage. They want you to be protecting your art. So there's no question, that the insurance company endorses what we do. But what Theo's leading to is they will actually incent people in the future to do this by better premiums as well. Okay, I think we're done. People can stick around if they have questions. Contact us by email, or come to the next seminar, and we'll probably get more into security features of the platform.
Follow us on social media and like all our stuff.
All right.
Thanks, Arif.